So this is going to be podcast number 41. This is the Dirk Nowitzki of the podcast world. So we are joined today by Billy Johnson. I can't use your nickname because it got the little kid bleeped out. With
it would be censored. Yeah.
So, but we are going to talk about a little bit of everything today, mainly about the Cowboy and
Connor?
Yeah, whatever his name is, right?
Connor McGregor.
Man, I said you didn't have enough caffeine. Apparently I didn't either. So we're going to talk about that, maybe talk about a couple of other fights that have happened here lately, just chit-chat a little bit, and there's a lot of pressure because I guaranteed that we got the right prediction, so one of us is going to have to get it right, because I'm gonna title it guaranteed, because we got to really make it pop here, figure out a way to make it work. So
sounds pretty good.
And you're going to have to talk louder. You know, Dave's, look, he can barely hear you.
I don't know what's wrong with that boy over there.
Does everything sound good, Dave?
I don't know. Let's just say it does.
All right. Well, we'll cut this one out if we have to. So, the new thing that we've been doing lately is the people that come on, we've been asking them questions up front just to try to break the ice, get people to know them. And we haven't ever done this with you before.
No.
So I'm gonna lead up to aliens, but I don't want to start with aliens.
Okay.
So
sounds good.
What kind of food does Billy Johnson eat?
What kind of food?
What's your favorite thing?
I would have to say probably my favorite thing would be like Chinese food, like some kind of Asian food. I like chicken teriyaki and all that stuff, like chicken lo mein.
And you cook it a little bit too, right?
I can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you usually not cook it? You just usually go pick it up?
I can cook it if I feel like it, but for like $6 I can go pick it up, so I'll just go pick it up.
Do you ever experiment with like the bags that you can buy like Kroger?
Yeah.
They're not too bad.
No, it's not bad. It's decent to be at home or whatever.
So if you only had one food to live off of the rest of your life, what would that choice be? Would that be Chinese? Let's go with genre.
It would probably be Chinese food, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I go through stages, man. There was a time where I didn't think I could live without hibachi, and I'm past it now. So,
like somebody had an intervention for you.
Rehab
Teriyaki's a hell of a drug.
Yeah. Well, you know, it just never tasted the same after James's mom couldn't even eat the hibachi here in town. She said it wasn't too traditional.
Did she ever make you some or anything? Like
no.
Oh, okay. So
I've never even seen them.
She kind of like teased you about
I'm not really sure if she's real, if James keeps her locked up.
Do you think it's that, or do you think James like wears a wig and like,
gotta stop smoking, go.
It's like some psycho stuff or something?
Yeah, I couldn't answer that accurately. I mean, either one is just as possible as the other.
I haven't heard from that fella in about a year almost.
Yeah. Every now and
it's
then
like last Super Bowl, wasn't it?
I'll hear some scratching on my window, and I know it's him. So
that wouldn't surprise me, really.
Yeah. There's, anyway, we better segue. It's gonna get too deep.
What's
here.
the next question?
I forgot. No, I can't stop picturing James in a wig.
He's like, that's not authentic. That's what my mom said anyway.
Yeah. And he like puts on the wig and takes the
bite. He was at home and he's like, no. Mom wouldn't like that.
He's the only fully bilingual dude that does nothing with his bilingualness.
Yeah.
Like all of his text messages, his Facebook and everything is in full on Japanese, and he doesn't. I'm like, you should be like owning your own company, something.
Yeah. You figure that he would have like some kind of like electronic company or something.
Yeah. Oh, that's racist. We're going to.
I feel like if he was here, he'd be like, that'd be cool, and that'd be about it.
He'd be like, that'd be cool, and swipe his wig out of the way.
Mother wouldn't like me doing that.
Oh God, we definitely have to move on from here.
I feel like we could talk about this for like an hour.
We got a whole podcast on it. They would probably pull us off YouTube.
I'm down to do it.
Another day. We gotta wait till we got like at least
make a second channel.
5 more.
Just in case it gets shut down, make a second
James
channel.
Gripes. You'll never guess what he did this week. He won't stop sending me memes. It's ridiculous. Like I'm sure that you probably think that I'm joking, but it's dead serious. Hold on. That's actually a conversation with me and Gross. This is a group text. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this.
So the only thing.
Look at this. Look. This is a whole day.
So
this is one day.
what it is, guys, is it's a group text, and there are other people that are actually talking in it, but the only thing that he's adding is just memes.
Yeah, there should be a James meme where it's like it should be this. It should be the Drake one where he's like, oh, dialogue, and then it's like, oh yeah,
Memes.
Yeah, memes. They're not even good. They're terrible. So
I guess his mom might get a chuckle out of it. I don't know.
definitely not. They're not traditional. Anyways, next topic. So, what have you been watching on TV lately? Any shows or anything that's caught your fancy? Because You has really taken over the internet here lately. Are you familiar with that show?
No.
Have you seen Dexter?
Yeah, I've seen
Okay.
Dexter.
So it's essentially Dexter, but with like a preppy white dude. that's
Extremely
not-
corny.
It's not as good as Dexter, and like I consider it a comedy. Like it's Dexter was a suspenseful show, graphic, and like it's like a comedy. Like he's talking to
So
himself in the head.
Maybe kind of like a lighter side of Dexter.
Not really lighter because he still murders
Still-
people.
It's a Lifetime movie turned into a TV show, but by the perspective, they flip the perspective.
Okay, so that's what it was. It was a Lifetime movie.
I don't know. That's what I think
you're
it
just
is.
comparing it.
Yeah. I just think if I was
No, it was
describing
actually on Lifetime.
Yeah, but if I'm describing it, it's from the point of view from the bad guy. But it's usually they make those Lifetime movies.
Yeah,
where,
it's
like,
all about
kidnappers
Yeah.
or some
Yeah.
shit. And
But
the
he,
stalker.
he stalks them.
So, like, what platform is it on? Is it on
Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
there's
I
two
actually like
seasons.
it. I actually like it. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I'll actually
I think
check
it's
it
funny.
out. There was a show that I got into. It's called Kidding, and it's got Jim Carrey in it, and it's on Showtime. And he plays like a Mr. Rogers type character, and he's got these two twin sons, and one of them dies. Like that's from the very beginning. That's what happens.
Mr. Rogers, but twins die.
He's got these twin sons, and one of them dies, and the other one is still alive. And his wife gets mad at him because he puts on like a fake face for all these other kids
Yeah.
and acts happy, but they've got like a tragedy in the family, and all kinds of stuff happens, and it's all dramatic. Like it's almost like Dexter. Nobody's getting killed yet, really. There's a couple people that have, but he's not the one doing it. But
You're talking to the poors. I can't afford Showtime.
Yeah.
I got that free trial. Is how I watched it. I binge watched
Well,
it.
there's my DirecTV box right there. So it's not operational.
Yeah.
I got rid of it. The kids and stuff weren't even watching it. So, but I'm struggling to find shows, and the You show was kind of like I saw a bunch on the internet and just tried it out, and I thought it was.
You watched both seasons already?
No, I haven't watched both seasons.
Just the first one?
I'm through like 1.5.
Oh, you only seen 1.5 episodes of it?
No, 1.5 seasons.
Oh.
One and a half
so-
episodes.
No, but there's like a lot of dialogue in it, and he's not very good at it. But I think the best part about it is that they kind of brought it to like modern times, as far as he stalks them on social media, which I'm sure happens all the time.
That's why Kellen's got that notebook. He's taking notes.
Yeah, I saw that post about that, and I was like, oh, that's kind of like the Joker, you know?
I haven't seen the movie.
You haven't seen the new Joker?
It's
Pretty
super
good.
Hashtag Heath Ledger's my Joker.
I don't know.
It's a flip a coin.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just doing it out of respect. You know what I'm saying? You know. No, I watch it. I haven't watched. What was the movie? Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, that's
I haven't
great.
watched it either.
I'm probably going to watch that sometime, either tonight or tomorrow night.
Actually, watched the Dorian Yates. I bought it on Prime. Do you know who Dorian Yates
Oh,
is?
yeah.
I'm fascinated with him. I was pretty bummed out that it was done by Generation Iron, and like they actually have like the least workout stuff,
Oh,
diet
wow.
stuff, all of them.
So it's kind of just like personal life, really?
Yeah, just kind of what made him different. You know, they called him the Shadow. He worked out in a dungeon, and he only did like 30-minute workouts a day, so it just made him completely different. And he's very, I don't know if eclectic is the word, but a lot of experimental drugs and stuff like that now. And so he's very different. He's very outspoken about it. He kind of trashes modern bodybuilding, so there's lots of points, but he's definitely one of my favorites.
Oh, he's one of the best.
And really, I was really hoping to watch it and to learn. I guess I could buy Blood and Guts, and I probably need to do that. I don't know if we can buy it on Prime. That way I can stream it or not, but I actually want. He said on the Joe Rogan podcast that he wrote down every workout and every meal that he ever did while he's bodybuilding, and he talked about selling that, like he's in talks with publishers.
Was that what influenced you to like keep up with the notebook and stuff?
No, the notebook has nothing to do with it.
Oh, okay.
I did the whole notebook thing when I was working out before, but I'm kind of just now getting back into it. I took 3 months off.
I did the same thing like over the holidays and everything. Yeah.
I laid on the couch and cried a lot, but you know, I'm kind of getting back into it now. I went 2 times, 2 times, 3 times, and then this week I went 4 times. So I'm gonna try to go 5 times next week. But I had been going for about a year and a half, almost straight. And at one point in time, I was up. I weigh more now than when I stopped because I've actually started putting on body fat. I started taking a beta blocker, slowed my heart down, and now I've like starting to put on body fat and stuff real easy. So my life's really changed a lot since the last time we were here. But yeah, so getting back into working out, you know, like I said, I put on like 30 pounds of muscle at one point in time, and I'm actually up 3 more pounds past that, but it's not healthy weight anymore. But the notebook has nothing else to do with that. This is honest to God what the notebook's about. I'll show you right here.
I thought that it might have just been like diet stuff and like the stuff you did at the gym. Maybe.
No, I actually have a composition notebook with that I did a long time ago. I'm trying to find my notes here. So I got all these podcast ideas, all this stuff, and when I click on them, this is what comes up.
Oh wow!
And that's after my latest update. So I was like, this is my other Samsung crashed and I lost a bunch of stuff, and like I have a bunch of really good podcast stuff in there. That's the reason podcasts have sucked lately, really, because I lost. So I'm blaming them. But no, I lost all the ideas and stuff, so that's the reason I started writing it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can never lose it if you put it in a notebook.
And it keeps me writing down what I'm going to do on every day, and I put a check mark if I do it, X if I don't.
That's
and it kind of keeps me honest.
That's a good thing. Last year I had a lot of bad things that happened to me, and the mentality that I had was to always do something like towards the positive.
Right.
Even if it's like paying a bill that you hadn't paid in a long time, like one that you forgot about or something. So I see what you're talking about. And if you keep yourself like in check about it, you're more likely to get what you need done.
Every couple of days I'll write my weight in there, stuff like that, and then I have a podcast notebook. I have a hunting notebook. Everything separate, and then I have my planner. And I guess I'm gonna publicly say it. I haven't publicly said it yet, but I think I'm gonna try stand-up comedy this year. So I've been writing jokes too. So.
Might be for real.
Yeah.
Well,
I've been writing jokes. Actually, the one he's talking about isn't my stalker notes. That's on another page. But that was perfect. That was Jim straight in the office. I'm sorry that I said something, but that's what that was. It was actually my joke page. I had just wrote a joke about my dad, and I sent it to him, and he said, a lot of comedians out of work. So he's pretty supportive about it, as you can. So, but I'll save the text message. That way, if I ever become rich and famous, I'll have my ex-wife to talk to her about saying, you never thought I was funny, so guess who isn't riding on the private jet? And then I'll have my dad, you thought I'd be out of work. But anyways, so yeah.
Are you planning on like going to like an open mic night or something?
Yeah, I was actually talking to David about it before you got here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to go to watch a couple of them and just seeing the timelines of how much material you'll need, and seeing like the vibe of the room and how other people do it. And
I feel like they would be relatively short, but
a
couple minutes.
I think they do like 5 to 10 minutes.
5 minutes is a lot of time.
Yeah, it's a long time. 2 minutes.
I was thinking about 2 minutes would probably be that, but I mean I could do it if I had to. I have a lot of what stories that I think are good, but you know I don't give a crap who's gonna be on YouTube. But I'm gonna try something different, and I'm gonna try to. I have my jokes that I'm writing, and I'm writing each one of them individually, and I'm gonna have to place them together. But I'm gonna try to get a vibe by the places that I go and kind of do the jokes that night according to the area.
Like kind of the rhythm and everything.
Yeah, like I have a joke about cars, and Georgetown has a comedy club, so I'm probably going to do that there. I have a joke about a melting pot, and Lexington's kind of a melting pot. You know, you can drive down the street and see a Trump sticker and a Hillary sticker like side by side. It's just like
and then a Bernie sticker on down the
road.
road.
And then you know there's liable to be a gang shooting over there and a redneck doing something else in the lower part of town. So I mean, it's just
black diesel smoke in Walmart parking lot over there too. So
yeah, somebody yelling "Free Bird." So which I did last night at a bluegrass concert. It's frowned upon. Didn't know that.
You yelled "Free Bird."
I had no idea. I was like, is that drunk dude up there? They're like, sir, you're the drunk dude. I'm like, you're right.
I'll calm down then.
I'll sit down. It was even worse because they were playing Amazing Grace, but you know, it's what it is.
You're as free as a bird now.
So, have you been working out lately?
Yeah, well, I just got back into it this past week. Kind of the same situation you're talking about.
Easy there.
Yeah, the monsters got a hold of me. But
It's really a White Claw. You just like
drink that White Claw. But I only went twice this week. I did like arms and chest and back. Really, that's about it.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to get back into it though.
Like, I think obviously it's pretty clear to everybody that diet's the most important part. But for me, as far as actually getting to the gym, it's a momentum issue. Because there were so many days that, I mean, I'm not lying, I could not get off the couch. I tried my best. I wanted to go to the gym.
Yeah.
And, you know, I did it 2 days, didn't have any more momentum. Two days after that, didn't have any more momentum. Did it 3 days, kind of got that first fame to pop out again. I'm like, oh, okay. And then, you know, just kind of, you pick up the momentum, you start seeing people at the gym. And you gotta find your own motivations. Like, I'll think stupid things like, so-and-so will be at the gym this week. And there's one guy in particular, and if I'm not there for a couple days, he'll be like, what's up, where you been? And just little things like that. You know, you can't let them down, whatever. But, you know, it's truly been, I got put on a certain dosage of beta blocker. It made me feel lethargic. I was feeling really bad sitting in a hibachi. I checked my heart rate, it was 53. And, like, the reason I got put on them was because I'd be sitting in a drive-thru somewhere and it'd be 95. So 53 is really low, 95 is pretty high, and I kind of bro-scienced my dosage back, and I'm feeling much better now. And I mean, I don't know what it is about having a slower heart rate, but I've definitely put on body fat that I never have. I'm getting older too, you know. Got a birthday coming up, you know, without the Patriots in the Super Bowl. I think I'll make it. But just things like that have been my reasons for getting back in it. But I haven't been since Friday. I really wanted to go do cardio yesterday, and I went to that concert and everything got kind of screwed up, and I just had no motivation to go today. But I'll definitely go tomorrow and try to go 5 days.
I kind of put it off for the holidays, and then my work gets a little hectic because we're open 24/7.
Yeah.
So I was having to help cover there. There's a lot of people that have like little kids. I don't have any kids, so there's a lot of people that have kids and stuff that I work with.
Yeah.
And they take the holidays off, and I'm glad that they do. That they can spend time with their kids.
He doesn't say that off camera.
Yeah, I get all upset. But anyway, so skipped it for Christmas. I skipped it for New Year, and then the tail end of Christmas, beginning of New Year, I had the flu. So I couldn't, that just knocked me back a week and a half.
Yeah,
so,
and it's best to take time off. Like,
yeah.
I used to be one of those guys like, oh, power through, bro, but not anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I watched David Goggins, which is one of the toughest human beings on planet Earth, and he's the one that actually got me to realize that my heart rate was so high, because he said he would take his heart rate in the mornings and see what it was, and if it was over a certain amount, he knew that he needed to take it easier on the workouts, because once your body your heart starts working harder, your immune system gets bumped down, whatever it may be. So that's the reason I started taking my heart rate, and there would be days that I would be sitting in the car and my heart rate would be 115, 120. And so that's one of the reasons that I had to start dialing it back, and, you know, just taking the moment to rest and not try to like power through it. I mean, you're younger than me, but I'm not a spring chicken anymore, and I was just running myself in the ground, working out 6 times a week or whatever. So. But glad to hear you're back into it. Always know that there's really good motivation, and I'll just snap a picture of the sign, the Planet Fitness sign, and I'll send it to my buddy Jerry. I don't know if you ever met Jerry, but he's been on the podcast several times. But send it to my buddy Jerry, and that's my check-in.
Is it the guy that I saw you with up there?
No.
Okay.
That's Gary.
Oh.
Jerry lives in Louisville, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember you going to do that podcast.
Yeah.
Didn't you go to his place?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I'll just take a picture and send him. And that's kind of my check-in for the day, and our motivation to know that what he's doing or what I'm doing, and we've had pretty good luck with that. And then it gets to a point in time where you just start, end up going yourself and not needing that extra boost. So, The last question I have for you is, we did a lot of alien podcasts. You weren't really a part of those, unfortunately. But did you ever get to watch the Bob Lazar documentaries or anything like that?
No,
You didn't watch
I'm not big on like I have Netflix, but don't really watch too much things on
Gotcha.
there. Usually, what I watch is I'm a YouTube guy. I watch a lot of like streamers. I watch like people play games. I'm a gamer, so I watch people.
like Twitch type stuff or whatever?
Well, it's kind of like Twitch, but it's on YouTube.
I figured they probably did them both.
Yeah.
They like.
I've watched people on Twitch and stuff, but I usually watch that. I watch like how like they have like top 10. So and then where I've been trying to learn guitar lately, that's opened up a whole nother door for me on like content to watch on YouTube. So that's kind of what I watch.
Gotcha.
So,
So how do you stand? What do you stand on aliens? Do you believe in them?
That's kind of a toss up, really. I mean,
Is it though? Is it though? You met James.
X-Files music plays suddenly. There's some strange, like unexplainable things that have happened, and that there's like documentation of, and it's pretty wild. But I don't know. I haven't. To me, before I can believe something, I feel like it has to happen to me,
Gotcha.
or I have to see it myself.
Gotcha.
But there is some pretty strange things that I've seen, like on the internet, but you can doctor things up on
Right. Well, I mean, they pretty much know that UFOs are real now because of all the military footage that they've released. I don't know if you saw those or not, but the question that David always kind of brings up is it actually alien craft, or is it some type of craft that's beyond our technology, whatever it may be? But there's pilots now that are coming out saying that they've seen this stuff, and sometimes the government will actually release the footage, but you know how that stuff goes. Then they get to pick and choose what they release and what they don't. So.
And the media can alter it too, I feel like.
Oh, definitely. But a lot of these are just straight to the source. They're just sending them straight out. So, has any of your views changed on that yet, Dave?
No.
He's really riled up about it. As you
Nah.
Nah. David's super hyped over there.
Yeah. This is the first time David hadn't been in front of the camera in a while. So
he's enjoying it.
He's the only one that can actually do it right. But so, anyways, have you watched any of the high profile boxing matches in a while?
Not a little bit really. I know they've got Fury and Wilder coming up. I actually watched Ruiz and Joshua too.
Yeah.
And I didn't really watch it. I watched like highlights after the fact.
That one was in a different time zone, wasn't it? Because I was like,
UAE
it's probably going to come on at nighttime. And then like at 6 o'clock, I saw it was over. And I was like, I was going to watch that.
It was like on Instagram. They really planned it poorly.
Yeah.
Wasn't it in England?
No.
It was in like Saudi Arabia.
Oh, that's right. No, it was
the Emirates.
Saudi, yeah.
They built like a stadium for it.
It was like at noon our time or something, I think, wasn't
No,
it?
it was before that.
Before that,
I think
like
you're right. I
11
think
or
it was
something?
I think that it released like early in the morning. Like
Yeah.
I woke up and it was like a Saturday and it was already on Instagram like early in the morning.
Yeah, I know that I was going to get because I figured it'd be like at nighttime Saturday, but it wasn't.
So I didn't get to watch it. I watched the highlights of the first one. I haven't even seen the highlight of the second one. But I felt pretty confident, especially when Ruiz came in so heavy that Joshua would probably piece him up.
I feel like if Ruiz, he had released stuff to social media that made it look like he had lost weight and got like slimmed out. And
Except
I was
for
like, man,
that one that he punched his trainer in the head. Did you see that?
I didn't see that one.
He missed the hook. It was like here and he went pop. He's like, oh god, I'm sorry.
Oh god. But
Trainer took you like a champ. I'd still be sleeping.
I steady sleep anyway. So
I've been dreaming about aliens waking up telling you it was true.
But if he had been slimmed down, I feel like it would have been a different fight. It seemed like he almost just wanted to party and not take it serious.
Yeah.
And I guess that comes with his first. I mean, he shook the world up and got the belt, and he was
Mexican heavyweight champion. I think he made like $10 million plus for that fight. I mean, if somebody would like to hand me $10 million, I'll let them know how it goes.
And I'm gonna party too.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, yeah. I don't know. It's just one of those things that I was really bummed out by his performance. He was on the Rogan podcast. He was talking it up, and things like that. It seemed like he was very confident, and he's obviously a very skilled fighter, but it just seemed like he just came in way out of shape.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he's really the stumbling block for that division. You get him out of the way, and now you got freed up Joshua. Did you watch the Fury fight wherever he got? It was on ESPN.
I was messaging you. I didn't really get to see it. I saw it a little bit after the fact.
I didn't remember if we messaged or not. Sorry, not that important.
Wow. Well, I guess I'm just gonna head out.
I gotta keep your ego in check, man. It's ridiculous asking for blue.
That's the one that he got that wicked cut. Yeah.
I was awful left hook. Really bad cut, and he didn't look that great before that cut, but that cut seemed to put like some type of
put a fire on
urgency in him. But if he lets Wilder land a punch like that on him, it's going to be a lot more devastating.
Oh, yeah.
So, what about Wilder fought? Oh gosh, I can't remember that dude's name, but he's top 10 heavyweight, and that he had hurt Wilder in the first Ortiz. It's
Ortiz. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the guy that nobody knows how old he is.
Yeah.
Really. He's like the Yoel Romero.
Yeah, exactly. So, but he had really hurt Wilder in the first fight. Wilder ended up stopping him later on, and it was pretty much the same. He just stopped him earlier this time.
Yeah.
So, Wilder's one of those guys, man, that he has the ability to change it any fight at any time, but he doesn't look that clean technically. We watched the Fury Wilder fight, and he just wasn't clean technically.
He just swings from the hip.
Yeah.
And
punch guy.
And it's all about the right hand, really. I mean, he's got power in both hands, but that right hand he throws from the floor.
Yeah. And I think his chin was one of the most surprising parts of that fight with me. You never really know. It's like, does Fury really not have that much power, or does Wilder have that much of a chin? Like, it's one of those hard things to realize. But I definitely think that Joshua hits a lot harder than Fury does. Yeah. Fury's just so technically clean. So there's a lot of really interesting matchups with that. I know that you've been over here and heard my love affair with Canelo. Did you get to watch the Kovalev? Mm-hmm. Anything in Kovalev?
No.
And it was unreal. That was the same night as Diaz Masvidal.
Oh, okay. That's what I was watching.
And they actually held the Canelo fight up for Diaz Masvidal, so we didn't think we would get to watch it, and we switched it over to the Zone, and they were just starting the boxing fight because they had held it off.
I remember hearing about that.
So we got to watch the full UFC fight card, which was okay. I mean, it was all right.
Yeah.
I'm kind of I know that you probably like both of them, right? Diaz and Masvidal, right?
I really like them both, but for some reason I was all 110% Diaz.
Yeah, I knew that you're pretty in on the Diaz brothers. This is one of those things where I look at the matchups and, it's cool. They got a lot of publicity in a title fight, whatever that title fight is. It's kind of made up.
That was pretty, it's almost WWE stuff.
Yeah. But
making a belt.
Having The Rock put it on them.
Yeah.
And I just don't see a matchup that they can beat one of the top tier guys that are the wrestlers. The wrestlers are just going to...
like Usman. Covington.
I think they're a lot closer to Covington than they are Usman or Woodley. Those are the two killers at the top, and I don't know how much of it is Usman so much better than Woodley, or Woodley just didn't take it serious. I don't know where it stops and where it starts, but I just don't think that they can touch those guys at the top of the division.
I agree with that. Their records show for that too.
Definitely, and I actually think Diaz is a lot better at 55. Like, I know he's a bigger guy, but obviously
it takes advantage of that size when you can cut and
all this moving up in weight classes. Like Cowboy, and we're going to talk about him in a little bit, but the step up from 55 to 70. He had that good run in the beginning, but he was kind of fighting the guys at the tail end of the top 10 or top 15. And once you get up to those big killers, man, you just can't hardly compete with them.
Yeah.
So. But anyways, stepping back to the Canelo fight, I love Canelo. I was just flabbergasted with the performance he put in. I mean, just so smooth. And then I thought that he would probably win this decision, but to not. Did you see the highlight of him? Oh my gosh!
I was so
the way that he knocked out Kovalev is just unbelievable. I'll pull it up here. We don't have young Jamie, so.
Pull that up, Jamie.
But, just the way that he was able to knock him out is just really unbelievable. Like I said, I just thought that he would probably be able to finish it, to like win a decision.
Yeah. When all that was going on.
When did you get to the? There we go. So I'll just put this here, and we'll just I'll have a conversation with you as you watch that, you know. But he really sets it up well here. You can watch him coming in, and you know he's landing the stuff over the top.
He's a different caliber fighter than
he hurts him here, finishes him.
Wow. I did see that part because I remember the guy turning to the rope and like.
But here's the thing about that: he stepped up 2 divisions, and he fought Kovalev, who just killed a guy. Kovalev killed a guy in the ring, and he does that to him. Like, you know, good on Floyd. Floyd got him when he needed to, but there, you know, I would say that any Canelo's people are calling Floyd now, he's definitely not.
Oh yeah, he's
not picking that phone call
yeah.
up. So, but I'm really excited to see who he fights next. I've never been like a big Triple G guy or the little guy. What's the little guy that everybody says pound for pound?
Yeah,
Lomachenko.
Yeah, Vasil Lomachenko.
Yeah, he's fought like 12 times. He hadn't looked great in any of the 12 fights.
Fought.
Yeah, he hadn't looked great in any of the fights. There's been moments where he's got hurt in every one of them. Don't even come at me with that. Canelo is by far and above the pound for pound king right now, in my opinion. So, but hopefully some good boxing fights, especially since I spent a year on ESPN, and they all seem to be going to DAZN now. But hopefully some good ones on ESPN. DAZN changed everything up, man. I tried to get the Fedor fight on there, and they don't have a free thing anymore.
Really?
Yeah, remember when it first came out, that was like their big thing. Like you either have to pay like $100 up front or $20 a month for like a set number of months.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I wasn't happy with that at all. But I mean, it's definitely something I'm gonna have to look into since they have so many boxing fights.
Switched it up. Yeah.
So I know that you got bad words to say about Fedor. So let's just.
No, I don't.
Did you watch the whole fight yet?
Yeah, I actually watched the. When all these fights go down, I'm at work.
Yeah.
So, and there's very poor cell phone service there, and we don't have Wi-Fi. So I'm like pacing outside on my phone trying to watch these fights and stuff.
Leaning like Chuck Liddell.
I'm like, alright, hold it up here.
That just looks like selfie.
Yeah. So people driving by, I was like, that dude's taking a selfie. He's full of himself. But so I watched that fight live, and I don't have any bad words for Fedor. I'm glad Fedor did what he did.
Well, I really hyped this up in the vlog. I was like, me and Billy are gonna go edit it.
No. Rampage Jackson should be embarrassed for even going in there and getting an easy paycheck.
I think that I don't think it should be Rampage as much as the people that are around him. Like, who's talking to you?
How can you let Rampage Jackson walk into an arena looking like that?
And not only walk in there, but also in the pre-fight, hype and stuff. Talk about, well, he's lost this much and put on this much muscle and all this stuff.
Yeah, there's no muscle on that dude.
I mean, there might be somewhere underneath there, but I mean, by far his worst physique, obviously, since he's been fighting. You look at him in Pride or whatever when he's 200 pounds.
Oh, yeah.
And then UFC when he's 205.
And then even some of these catchweights, like the catchweights he was doing in Bellator when he showed up and he was like 230, 240.
Yeah.
Didn't look that bad. You could tell that like his gut was solid. It wasn't like flabby or anything like the Fedor fight.
Well, and he had the good win against Vanderlei. Obviously they're both long in the tooth, and he got the win over Vanderlei, but which is the second one, so that one's 2-2. But the loss to Chael Sonnen, he looked terrible.
Yeah.
And I would equate his performance with Chael Sonnen and the Fedor fight as just a continuance of that, because if you watch that fight, Chael was outstriking him, and that should never happen.
No.
And I think Rampage threw one good punch in the Fedor fight as a left hook. He threw it hard, but Fedor being diminished as he is, he clearly got out of the way of it, identified it, and I thought Fedor's hands looked about the best that I've seen them in a long time. But the problem is, like I sent you by text, is like you never really know what's going to happen if one lands on Fedor's chin. That's the question mark, because you don't get that back.
And especially with somebody that can box like Rampage can.
Dude, that left hook he threw was still has, it was more like a tank left hook as opposed to a Rampage left hook. But it was. But
yeah.
I think that Rampage probably thought in his mind, like, I'll give you a parallel. I watched the Chuck and Tito 30 for 30. Did you watch that?
No.
Okay.
I didn't watch it.
Well, you gotta watch it. Even if you want to run over here sometime and watch it, you definitely got to. I cried like a baby through most of it. But first of all, segue. How stupid is whatever the De La Hoya promotions for not waiting until that came out to put that fight on? That's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. So you have that fight. It does 30,000 pay-per-view buys, and then you have this giant 30 for 30 coming out on ESPN. Why would you not wait till after that?
And hype it up even more, yeah.
But anyways, I digress.
But he didn't even pronounce Chuck Liddell's name right,
yeah,
so...
Liddell.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was bad. But I see a lot of parallels in that. You know, it seems like these guys can't really turn their brains off. And, like, the same group text that's now full of memes back when it was actually full of conversations. I watched Chuck Liddell hit pads one time and I go, this is not gonna go well. Like, you can just tell by the way the guy works out, like how prepared he is. And I don't know if you watch those, the open workouts and stuff, but he looked not good.
Yeah.
And I always knew that, you know, his chin wasn't gonna recoup, but I always thought at the same time he'd probably be able to throw strikes. But it almost looked like there's something going on with his hips, his legs, something. He wasn't moving.
The way that it looked like he was underwater or something, you know?
Yeah.
Like he just slow-mo.
But even when he was hitting pads, like they weren't clean strikes. Like, you know, you watch a professional fighter and you could put like a bullseye in the middle of the pad and they're hitting that every time. You know, somebody like me, I don't do that. But like his hooks were off, they were kind of deflecting poorly and stuff like that. And I just didn't even know how it could possibly happen. But you have people telling Chuck Liddell he's ready to get in the ring.
Yeah.
You have people having him believe it. And like he watches that fight and he watches the Tito Chuck 3 fight on live camera, well it's not live, but on camera in the 30 for 30, and it's heartbreaking. Like I cried. That's the part that got me the most. And it's just so heartbreaking because he's doing the same Chuck Liddell stuff that he always used to do, and they're saying, well, Chuck Liddell hasn't rolled out, you know, another, you know, fight, and it's like, who's talking to these people?
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm all for people going out there and doing things. You know, Randy Couture did it very late into his 40s. But these guys did not lead the same lifestyle as Randy Couture.
No.
And you're starting to see that with these guys. You know, you got Chuck and Rampage that were pretty party hardy.
Yeah.
And Rampage isn't a big dude.
No.
Like, I was next to him in Atlanta, and he's like right here to me. I mean, and to hold that kind of weight on that small frame.
It's not good. It's not. No,
but I think of all the people that we just talked about, you know, I think Fedor, if he wants to fight more, they can probably give him Rampage caliber guys. I don't think he's winning any titles anymore. He's not beating any Ron Bader's.
That's another thing that you're bringing that up. I'm impressed with the shape that Tito comes in at.
Well, he's on steroids.
Well, yeah, but
I mean, it's pretty clear.
Yeah. He just.
I mean, he has to put work in.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem like skill-wise. It doesn't seem like he's lost
great.
anything.
He looks great. I mean, that's the thing about. I watched them both hit pads, and I was like, dude, Tito's ready. Yeah. But don't act like that he's not on steroids. I mean, it's absurd. It's absurd. Like you're going for these little promotions. You're on steroids. It's cool. I mean, you're putting the work in. I'm a firm believer in TRT. Yeah. These guys are getting their pituitary glands.
And he's older.
Yeah. But as long as it's monitored, juice them up.
Out here taking fights with Alberto Del Rio. Yeah. So.
Whose head still just came down back off planet Earth from Krokop kicking him.
Yeah, with the mask on. Yeah.
So, but, you know, it's one of those things that I think Rampage, I think Chuck is beyond done. Like, somebody needs to talk to that boy.
Yeah.
But, you know, Tito, he could probably still have some good fights. Rampage could have some good fights if he gets some proper people behind him because, you know, that was the first time that Rampage has ever been stopped by punches. And I think that they could have let it go on more. I think that he would have just got his back and hit him more and choked him. But, you know, I wish Fedor would hang him up, but he's probably not going to. He's probably got the Russian mob. He probably secured Alexander's release, and now he's working for him. So, but
he's got mobsters betting on him and stuff. Yeah.
It just gets sad to me. Like, it gets to the point where I'm just sad. Like, all these great people, like, when I watched the end of Chuck and Tito, like, it was like one of those moments where me and Gross were sitting there, and like we weren't looking at each other saying nothing, or like, you know, Because I mean, it's sad. It's like the end of our childhood, you know, and to see somebody like Chuck go out to a wimpy left hand from TRTs,
Yeah.
it just hurts. And to watch Rampage get hit. I mean, what did he get hit 75 to nothing in that Fedor fight? It shouldn't be happening, and there has to be some type of leadership in these organizations to make sure that they're in shape. You know, Rocky Balboa had to go before a panel and make sure he was. So the rest of these guys.
A little bit punchy, but it's all good.
Yeah. So and no steroids were involved in that comeback.
No, not at all.
So.
No.
But yeah, so Bellator has been far more entertaining to me over the last little bit. I don't know how you feel about that, but
I agree with that. The UFC's putting on just generic cards.
Generic, they're watered down. There's too many of them, and they're top heavy, and that's my biggest complaint.
Yeah, big main event, nothing else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they don't have the star power to really do that anymore. I mean, when's the last time a Conor fight was a week away and you can remember so little fanfare?
Yeah. It's never happened, really.
I feel like in the past I could open my front door and hear them going, "Oh, from Vegas," and like this time you're opening and you're like, "Nope, don't hear nothing."
Yeah.
And
the neighbors watching like cops or something. Yeah.
It's a cool fight. It's a cool fight. But it's a very top heavy card. And it's the pattern that they've been putting them all out. I'm so far down. I'm actually more excited for boxing now than MMA, and I've never been like that in my entire life.
I'm the same way as you on all that. It's just there's nothing exciting anymore.
Yeah, we lived for WWE growing up. I don't know how you feel about it, but
I was 125%.
Right, I lived for it growing up. That's so funny. I'm literally wearing a Shawn Michaels shirt right now. So I lived for it growing up, and it just died to me. It's just, and I can't. It's unwatchable. Like, I'll watch WrestleMania. I'll watch the Hall of Fame inductions just to have that nostalgia whenever the NWO music pops or whatever. But I cannot watch anymore. It is absolutely god awful, unwatchable.
And it's Vince McMahon got a monopoly on the wrestling industry, and now he can just put out generic crap, and that's kind of what the UFC is doing. But Bellator's actually putting on stuff that's exciting.
I've been saying forever that Bellator's using the WCW model. They're taking all the old talent and they're putting them in these fights, and it's generating and the fights are usually easier to watch. I don't have Paramount Channel anymore. That's the reason I had to go to DAZN, but anybody that had Paramount could watch that fight. But my point was that like WWE is unwatchable to me. UFC is between that, Bellator, and boxing. Boxing would be at the top. Bellator, UFC, WWE. I won't hardly watch WWE at all. Even the WrestleMania last year or whatever was terrible for me.
Yeah.
So UFC's kind of teetering on that point, man.
It is.
They don't have any stars to really carry it. They're trying the silly stuff with the Masvidal thing, and to me, if I was a fighter, I would be happy that they got that main event. I would be happy that they got that money, but to give them a belt would be an insult to me, especially if I was a champion.
For sure.
And, Masvidal is talking all this garbage. Well, I don't know. Maybe he is as good as he's fighting right now, but to me, they're really giving him, like, matchups to help promote them.
They're making him almost like a gatekeeper, really. Minus that Nate Diaz fight. He's kind of one of those guys where if somebody's moving up the ranks, that's like maybe their first challenge. Yeah.
Well, he's got wins over some really good stand-up guys. He's got losses over some really good stand-up guys. But he lost the decision to Damian Maia, who's, his wrestling's borderline at best. His striking's way below average. So, but you have that type of mindset now. You've got John Jones. You never know if he's going to piss hot or not piss hot. The DC Stipe thing is the best thing that they got going on by far. I'll watch that all day long. But there's nothing in between. Nothing.
No.
And it's a bummer to me. And even when somebody like Valentino Shevchenko's on a card that I want to watch, there's nothing supporting that card. There's nothing holding it up.
And there's nothing that makes you want to buy a pay-per-view. No. And they're raising the price with the Cowboy and Conor. Conveniently for the big one that they know might have more buys than the rest.
And there's nothing to support that really.
And I feel like it boils down to what we've talked to before on this, that they have too many events in a year.
And they probably had to promise ESPN to give it to one.
If they have...
It freaks me out when he does that. Does it sound okay, buddy?
Yeah.
He either had a really bad migraine or
He's probably listening to something else on
in his
there.
own. And he's listening to like
I got plugged up to my phone.
He's listening to Tupac right now. But if they had an event like once a month or every 2 months, something like that, so like 6 a year, and big title fights, big cards, and then you also have your fight nights. Well, I'm talking about like the main pay-per-views.
Yeah.
Have your fight nights for the up-and-coming guys, and then have your pay-per-views like 6 a year, something like that. But I
don't know
about that money.
Well, I think they should only have one pay-per-view a month, and probably really one good fight night to have those guys like almost like a minor league to be going back up there. Maybe put it with a guy that's kind of coming off a couple losses, headline it with that.
That's the way it used to be.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I was going to say. You go back and like look at UFC 52 and you look at the lineup, you're like Hall of Famer, Hall of Famer, Hall of Famer.
Champion.
And now you're like Cowboy versus Cerrone, Pettis. Don't know who this is. Don't know. Claudia Gajelja. Okay. Don't know who that is.
Holly Holm.
Holly Holm. Yeah, Holly Holm's on there.
And then, yeah, like right before I came over here, I didn't know who all was on the card. So I knew, of course, I knew about Cowboy and Connor. But then I pulled up the card and I was like, oh, wow. Like, it's just
Bad.
Just trash fights.
Yeah.
The only thing that's going to be the saving grace for it is Connor and Cowboy.
Yeah.
And that's not what we're used to as the fans that we are.
Well, and not only that, but they're not propping it up with anything. And then you got Connor, Cowboy, and you look at it and you're like, oh, it's at 170.
Yeah.
Why?
It really doesn't mean anything at all.
Why?
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to do? Oh, Connor want to fight against Cowboy at 170, so we're going to do this. Cowboy want to fight at 170, so we're going to do... There's no answers. Like, why? Cowboy just came back. He had the resurgence at 55. He lost to Gaethje. Gaethje is one of my favorite fighters to watch right now, by the way.
That should be the fight, is Connor and Gaethje, really.
I don't want to watch that one. I don't want to. I don't want to. If I was Connor's people, I'd only take fights that made sense to me, and that one doesn't make sense. He's going to get his legs battered, and he's probably going to end up TKO. Doesn't make any sense. And if Gaethje wants to take him down, he's going to take him down.
Yeah.
But, you know, you look at that fight, and you're like, why? Like, why? I can't wait for Connor versus Cowboy, but give me something to look forward to. Like, how bad is your outlook on everything that you would have this at 170? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, like I said a second ago, it literally doesn't mean anything at all.
The only way it makes sense is if Cowboy or if Connor was too heavy. What's it been, like a year and a half since he fought?
Yeah, didn't want to cut.
And he didn't want to cut, and he was just trying to make it back down. But it makes no sense. He is not beating anybody at that top three.
No.
Nobody. Like, you can't stop Khabib takedown at 55, and you're going to stop one of these other guys?
Usman or Woodley. Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to me. And vice versa. Like, if it's Cowboy, I guess the way you can rationalize it, this is Cowboy's payday. But Cowboy's never got a payday.
Mm-hmm.
He
deserves one.
Unfortunately choked in big fights before, like the Dos Anjos or whatever list that you go. I can't remember who he lost to in Denver the time before he lost to Gaethje, but you get a main event in Denver, your grandma's there and then showing all this, and then you lose. It's just heartbreaking because I really like Cowboy. Do I think he's a UFC title fighter? No. But do I think that he's a fantastic fighter to watch, and was I rooting for him to get the title at 55? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, you get up to the guys like Gaethje and you're like, probably not going to happen for you. Like, I did not have a good feeling going into it, and he actually put on a worse performance in the Gaethje fight than I thought he would. So you got, you know, him coming off that, you got Conor coming off the poor performance against Khabib, and now you've got a fight that is essentially meaningless. It's just, to me, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what happened to the company and the sport that I loved, and it's really hard for me, and maybe they're too close to it, but to hear like Joe or Brendan Schaub or whoever talk about these fight cards with excitement. And, you know, at least Brendan Schaub will say this card sucks, and I appreciate that so much because it's the truth, and it's the truth that they need to hear. This card sucks. The Cowboy versus Conor card, if we're getting all of our friends together, I'm paying all this money to have ESPN Plus, and I'm paying for the pay-per-view, and I'm paying for food and everything. Give me something that's worth coming out for, you know?
Yeah.
It sucks. It kind of shows you what you mean as a consumer or a customer. Like, there's no UFC 100 that's a thank you for being our customer, you know. But I guess that's enough railing on it because I will still watch it because it is two guys that I, you know, have enjoyed watching so much. unfortunately, it seems like when I got on the Connor bandwagon, it's just been straight down like my life. But
Samesies.
yeah, so but it's one of those things that I can't wait to watch the fight. I wish that they had done more with it. I wish that they had made it for more. But we're here, and it's obviously going to be a big fight. It's probably going to do pretty decent. I don't think it's going to do as good because there's not really trash talk banter back and forth. But I think it's going to do decent, as far as buys and stuff goes. But how do you see it playing out? Now, keep in mind, we've guaranteed to get the performance right.
Okay, the way that I see it playing out is if it goes. Okay, Cowboys came out and said, I'm just going to stand and bang with him. I'm going to stand and strike.
Yeah.
If that's the case, Connor, within the first 3 rounds, I feel like he takes it. I feel like he can TK. I don't feel like he might not knock him out. He's got the power to. We haven't seen him in the octagon in a while. So, I feel like Connor would win via TKO, and within the first couple rounds, I feel like Connor is going to get winded. If it goes past 3 rounds, I feel like Connor's going to get winded, and I feel like Cowboy can outwork him and come in clutch. If it goes to the ground, I feel like Cowboy will beat him.
Do you really feel like that Connor has the power at 70 though?
Not really. He couldn't. I mean, Nate Diaz is a straight up. Just he can take shots. And Connor threw everything he had at him for 5 rounds, and Nate pointed and laughed at him. So,
right. With blood on his face. Let's get Connor
and was doing the flexing and flipping him off and all that. But anyway, I actually just rewatched that. So, but anyway, I don't feel like Connor would be able to knock him out, but I feel like Connor could overwhelm him in the same sense that he did with like Eddie Alvarez, and outstrike him. I feel like Connor's stand-up is more crisp than Cowboys, for sure. And the style he has is the kind of karate style, capoeira kind of style. So I feel like Connor can finish him with like TKO in the early rounds. And he might be able to win 3 rounds. So if it goes to decision, Connor might win just if he can hang in there. But Cowboy is dangerous in a lot of ways that Connor's not ready for.
Right.
So
gun to your head, what's your prediction?
Gun to my head, Connor early TKO.
So I kind of unfortunately have a lot of the same points as you. I think if Cowboy was to use kickboxing, wrestling, and his ground game, that he could probably cruise to a decision. But once again, you've got a guy that does whatever he wants, whenever he wants. He has nobody telling him what to do. He kind of trains by himself now. He doesn't necessarily have Team Jackson or anything anymore, which I think is a good thing and a bad thing. I think if he wanted to, he could probably beat up Connor's legs, try to get in and out, and hopefully cruise to a decision, because I'm not sure that outside of a head kick that Cerrone would have enough power behind it to stop Connor. Because Connor does have a pretty good chin. Obviously, Khabib beat the brakes off of him and couldn't stop him, really. He had to choke him. So Connor's got a good chin as well. I guess my biggest question is like, what is Cerrone's chin like now? Because, he got stopped by Gaethje pretty quickly. He didn't look good in that fight. His head's always straight up. And, is his chin really recovered? Has he given enough time? Or is it going to take a lighter shot now than it did before? Because there for a long time, Cowboy had like a really granite chin. But he's getting older. He's had a lot of fights. He stands very straight up. And I don't think that he can necessarily put the game plan together that he would have to. I think he's probably too proud. And so I'm in agreement with you. Gun in my head, I would say Connor first round TKO. I don't think that his chin's had enough time to recover. I think he's too straight up. I think Connor's going to start fast, and that's going to work to his advantage because Cowboys start so slow. And so I can see a scenario where Connor clips him and then maybe follows it up with some strikes on the ground. He's obviously not going to submit him. But if Cowboy's smart, he come in, he kick his legs, he try to move away, try to get him to the ground, try to wrestle him, strike, put stuff together, try to use kicks, and try to win a decision. I just don't think it's in him. I think they're going to meet in the middle of the ring, and you said kind of that Conor had better striking. I think Conor's boxing is better,
Yeah.
but I think Cowboy's striking game is actually better.
What I meant by that was his hands.
Yeah. So it's just a matter of how much he uses his legs and how much his chin has recovered. And I don't know, man. I'm starting to be a big believer in how much your chin recovers. You get sparked like that and you get knocked down. And, thank God Gaethje was gracious with it. He could have really put it on Cowboy.
Mm-hmm.
But he kind of stood up and walked away when he knew it was over with. And, I just think he's older and he's been through so many wars that sooner or later that chin's got to go. And he puts it in the right spot so many times. And if you watch him, a lot of times he'll just do this. Like, that's his defense. His head's up. He doesn't even put his hands up.
Yeah.
And
chin straight up.
And I can guarantee you that Conor is good enough to know where that head's going to be.
Oh, Conor. I watched the Alvarez fight again, and I watched the Nate Diaz part 2 again, and he is probably the most accurate I've ever seen on somebody's moving their head,
Mm-hmm.
and like
he knows where it's going to be.
Trying to get away, and they just it's right at the end of his fist.
Yeah, the Aldo fight's
Every
number
time.
one. He knew he was practicing backstage. He knew exactly what was going to happen. I mean, the fact that he landed a big uppercut on Mayweather is something in and of itself. And if it hadn't caught so much of Mayweather's chest on the way up, who knows what would have happened. But it is what it is. That happened. And being in there with somebody like Mayweather that moves their head so well, somebody like Eddie that moves their head pretty decently, and then you got Nate and Cowboy that don't move their head at all.
Yeah.
So they're just right there. But I think the thing that could really throw them off is if Cowboy put kicks there with them.
Yeah.
So because he's had so many beautiful kick combinations, body shots, kicks off of the body shots, just you name it. But unfortunately, they've been against lower tier guys. Once he gets to the top tier, and that's the main reason I'm picking Conor, is because every time that I put my faith and my money and anything behind Cowboy, and he's got to this big main event stage, he has always choked.
Yeah. If you look at it over the past couple of years, he hasn't done well. He's very streaky. He's a very streaky fighter. His record goes to show that.
Yeah.
It's like a Nate Diaz record. Yeah, he'll go in there and do about anything you want to do, but people just get him. And if you go in risky like that, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like you said, you got to come up with a game plan to make it.
You got to be a little method to the madness.
Whatever you're better at, you need to make a game plan with that.
Yeah.
And he, unfortunately, he doesn't do that. He would be a tremendous fighter if he had really good game plans.
Yeah. Are you gonna come watch it with us?
It's next Saturday, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, I might take off work and do it.
I gotta figure out who's gonna get it. Everybody's being. That's another thing. Like when people be like, "We're getting the Conor fight, knocking you over to get it," but there's not really anybody knocking me over right now. So I guess I'm probably gonna end up being to get it. But I hate doing that and then having a Super Bowl party, because I'll probably end up having a Super Bowl party too. So, and I won't be crazy this time.
Yeah.
You didn't even get to see the real crazy killing. Poor David had to watch. I wouldn't even let him leave whenever the Patriots came back from the Falcons. Any fights on the horizon that you're looking for in MMA? We talked about boxing.
Really, that's about it. To be honest, I mean, there's not that much exciting going on.
Yeah.
Really, I don't know what is coming up in Bellator right now.
They're still continuing that featherweight tournament.
And that's a good thing too with Bellator, is they've got those tournaments and stuff. And that kid, I've never been big on watching them small guys. I just never have. I like pretty much heavyweight to like 155. That's what the classics.
I've kind of like Dillashaw and Garbrandt and Dominic Cruz. They kind of I didn't even like watching Mighty Mouse. Well, they got me into the 35s. I never ventured on to the 25s. 45s are great for a while with Aldo. Now Max is down there. I guess he just lost his title, which I didn't even watch that fight. That goes to show you.
I just checked social media and I was like, oh, he lost his belt.
Didn't expect that one.
And there's no hype behind that. Nobody's talked about that.
55, there's just kind of a little bit of a void there too. There's not really much going on. What could be, I guess he's supposed to be fighting Tony, which I'm looking forward to that.
That's one that I'm.
If it actually happens, but it's hard to get excited for it because they're booking the title fight so far out now. John Jones is fighting another can. Who cares? I'm not even really sure what's going on at 70. Not really sure what's going on at 85.
It's just
Um,
it's weird.
and then the only other fight that I'm looking forward to is the Stipe Cormier trilogy, and I guess we'll do one on whenever that comes around. We seem to do a lot of them on the DC ones.
Yeah.
I guess this is
pretty
his
much DC and Connor.
final ride. Well, nobody else puts butts in seats anymore.
Yeah.
Nobody at all.
Yeah.
So, well, we appreciate you being here, man. I guess we'll conclude this podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share, and maybe throw in your opinion on what's going to happen, because none of you will ever do that. So, I guess you're afraid to be wrong. But we appreciate you tuning in, and we'll catch you the next time.